So I got my my start in brewing professionally through homebrewing. I started homebrewing in 1988, 89. I was just out of high school. I'd moved to San Diego to go to college. This is when I lived in Southern California, and met a couple of guys who were into good beer, and we decided to start homebrewing, and that was the beginning of it. Over the years, my hobby kind of got out of control, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do for a living, was make beer. And so at the ripe old age of 19, I traveled to Europe. That was at the time, there wasn't a whole lot going on in the craft beer industry yet in America. Yes, there was some breweries emerging, Sierra Nevada, Anchor was already around, Boston Beer making Sam Adams, but there weren't the proliferation, and it wasn't so embedded in the American minds as it is now. So as a home brewer, I was making mostly IPAs. I wasn't doing any Belgian style ales yet like I do now. Those kind of came later on. Really the book that influenced me the most was Charlie Papazian's The New Complete Joy of Homebrewing. The old adage in there, the slogan, relax, don't worry, have a homebrew, was something that we lived by. And that really got me going. It was amazing how much help that book was to me. From there, I got back from Europe, just even more eager to make beer. I moved back to near my family's business to help them with the winery, and I would work during the day in the winery, and then at night I would homebrew down in the cellar. So it was kind of like it was in here with drains and stuff. So I mean, if you spilled, you just squirted it down. It made brewing a lot easier than the average home brewer deals with at home. So I did that for a couple years, working at the day in the winery, and at night homebrewing. And eventually I started a little brewery in Temecula where my family's winery was. And that brewery was called Blind Pig Brewing Company. And that was 1994. I did that for a few years. I left in late '96. My old partners continued the brewery going for a few years. And after I left, Natalie and I moved up to Santa Rosa, or up to Sonoma County, where I got hired at Corbel to run their brewery, Russian River Brewing Company. So after they closed the brewery a few years ago, Natalie and I were able to take over from them. And that was a really big moment for us. Most big companies, close an operation and that's it. They asked me if I wanted to buy it and continue it on, which is what Natalie and I have done. So going back to the early days, home brewing was a very, very important part of how I got into beer, and it's still pretty embedded in what I do and what we do around here. In fact, we're about to get a 10 or 15 gallon homebrew system that we'll leave here at our production brewery, and some of our staff can come over and use it if they want and homebrew here.